Putting into perspective the realities of a housing crisis is challenging to say the least. Any endeavour is overwhelmed by the socio-complexities and economic realities and usually reduced to academic theorizing. And any attempts to deal with such a crisis results in a colossal burden, an impossible endeavour, and an inevitable perpetuation of failures through inadequate and misguided policies. What you are looking at is a relocation area initially constructed in 2007 and overseen by the then Cape Town Mayor Helen Zille. Its purpose? To legitimise the numerous evictions that took place in and around Cape Town leading up to the 2010 Soccer World Cup. Welcome to Blikkiesdorp. It would be fair to assume that from any objective viewpoint, it would be neither desirable, preferred, nor beneficial for anyone to take up residence in an environment such as this. It can be expected that those who do reside here do so out of a desperate sense of hapless circumstance. This relocation settlement has been described as resembling a concentration camp, worse than any township during apartheid, with an ever-increasing crime rate and substandard living conditions, with residents at the mercy of the elements and an overall sense of hopelessness. The location's very existence ordains evictions, some brutal, and appears to be, in frank terms, a dumping site for human commodity that the city deems insignificant and dispensable. As we shift our attention back to Stellenbosch and the KreefGat community, who are experiencing a near identical eviction and relocation crisis as those experienced by the current residents of Blikkiesdorp, it could be insightful to reflect upon what elements are required for people to harmoniously share the same spaces while maintaining a mutually secure tranquility rather than a divided, fearful and unsecure agitation leading to conflicts and debilitating discomfort. The KreefGat community, not short of hardship, have developed a sense of identity through a long-standing effort to build on values that promote respect and dignity, and have done this with very little help from the authorities, and after 20 years can be considered entitled to own the right to the sense of community that they themselves have built. But instead, this community is now expected to accept eviction from this piece of land, relocate their lives to this settlement under extremely uncertain circumstances and conditions, with a tenuous hope of receiving a house on this inadequate space allocated for housing development. We spoke to Manny Hendricks, a KreefGat resident and spokesperson, on his concerns regarding the proposed relocation settlement for the KreefGat community.
Two murders, if the second one was a murder, there was a rape case, and now the gangsters. The house that I went to, where I was looking for my daughter, they threw a brick right through his window into his bedroom. When the fight was on, the gangsters. And the thing is, it's not only that people. What they do, they go get some people from outside, and that's not good, because once people come in from inside, they bring guns with them and they bring everything with them. That place is gonna change up there. See, that is actually three different. One group came from here, from down. The other one was just where they start building now, developed, and the other group was opposite the graveyard. So it's three groups which I put together. You know, when you come in the place, everyone want to rule the place. One of these days is going to be chaos there, up there.
The official narrative from a Blaauwklippen representative is that the majority of residents are happy to move to the relocation settlement, where conditions are alleged to be greatly improved, but this clearly does not appear to be the case. We spoke to Louisa Julius, who lost her home at KreefGat to a fire and had no choice but to relocate.
Ja, dit wat hulle alles vir ons beloof het voor ons opgetrek het hiernatoe. Daar het nog niks gebeur van dit. Verlede jaar het ons 'n sterk wind gehad wat van die hokkies omgewaai het, omdat daar die ankers om hulle vas te maak. En die lining wat hulle vir ons beloof het om binne te sit, sien soos die groen seil. Sien, die wind waai nog steeds daardeur. Daar's nog steeds te veel spasie vir die wind om deur te kom. En by die vensters, as dit baie hard reën, dan kom die water deur. Dit is goedes wat ons nog niks, hulle het nog niks vir ons sulke goedes gegee nie. So verlore mens weet, jy het nog klaar in die brand verloor jou hele huis. Want byvoorbeeld soos ek het my werk gestaan en toe die phone call kom dat my huis is afgebrand, toe ek daar kom, toe staan niks oor nie. Ek het net gestaan met my werksklere aan, dis al. Ek het maar by my werk, het ek geld geleen om my huis weer vol te maak vir die res wat nou nog nie daar is nie. En dan het ek maar nou die anders weer op skuld gevat. En dit betaal ek nog steeds. As hulle nog vir ons krane ook naby ons huise aangesit het, dan maak dit veel meer makliker. Maar nou moet jy, as jy wasgoed was, jy water nodig in jou huis, dan moet jy swaar emmers en kanne waters aandra. Ja, en hulle het beloof, hulle gaan vir elke gesin sy eie toilet gee. Maar daar is dan nog steeds 3 tot 4 gesinne wat op 1 toilet moet gebruik. Wat ook nie reg is, want jy kan nie saam met almal gebruik aan een ding. Kyk, elke gesin, almal is mos nie dieselfde nie.
En wat verwag jy nou in die toekoms, dat jy daar 'n huis onder gaan kry waar hulle nou bou, of hoe sien jy die toekoms?
Die probleem is dit hang mos nou af van jou salaris af. As jou salaris mos nou meer as R3,500 is, dis soos hulle mos nou in die vergadering sê, dan kwalifiseer jy nie vir 'n huis nie. So as my naam op die lys, gaan ek nog steeds nie kwalifiseer nie. As ek 'n ander moontlikheid gehad het, sal ek dit baie waardeer om hier weg te kom. Naweke gaan die verskriklike goeters aan en jy kan nie rus nie, jy slaap nie, jy's heel nat as jy uit die slaap val deur goed wat hier gebeur.
Ek wil in 'n steenhuis bly.
Ja, dis wat dit is almal se begeerte is om in 'n huis in te gaan. As jy uit 'n hok uitkom, in 'n huis in.
Ja, los. Hier is genoeg grond om vir die mense huise te bou, maar hulle speel met die mense se koppe al die jare.
Ja.
Maar so lank wat die mense wag vir huise en dan word hulle so op.
With the backlog of houses increasing exponentially year after year, and what appears to be grossly misguided policies by authorities to adequately deal with such a daunting crisis, it becomes apparent the dire consequences that exist among communities and those seeking the very basics of a secure way of being. This crisis demands an approach that secures dignity through action first, above all, and should not cave to the wider misguided view of simply reacting to uncontrollable circumstances in a generic fashion. Being vulnerable in a society where the odds are stacked is nothing to be ashamed of, nor should it be discriminated against. As Gandhi famously said, the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats the most vulnerable members. Dignity goes beyond rights. It can be considered an obligation, a mandatory element in ensuring healthy, harmonious societies.